Oh wow, that's my recent reaction to Zebec, and the reason why, even though nothing I say is financial advice, is because in the Zebec Super App roadmap, there was an image of the logo of Stellar and as well as XRP. Now, by the way, I noticed this after Christian Perez, shout out to Christian Perez, by the way, who notified me in my latest Zebec video as to how this was there. So again, thank you. And even though I already talked about the Zebec Super App roadmap, I want to talk about this more specifically because I want to talk about what this could mean for Zebec, right? Because we all already know they launched the Zebec Super App, but in the roadmap, again, there was a picture of the Stellar logo and as well as XRP. Now, for the XRP part, I mean, I guess I could see why they would probably put it there because if we think about it, even though this is just pure speculation on my part, we already know that Simon, who's the CEO of Zebec, by the way, he's going to be attending supposedly the largest XRP conference in the world from April 30th to May 1st, of course, in this year in 2026, and that's going to be in Las Vegas, right? However, keep in mind, keynote speakers in that event do include not only just Simon, but also Brad Garlinghouse. Keep in mind, Brad, right? Or should I say Brad Garlinghouse? He's the CEO of Ripple. So again, I could probably see why in the Super App roadmap they put XRP logo because probably, who knows, right? If they're doing something with Ripple, I mean, I have no idea, but I'm just saying if they're even like to the point where Simon, the CEO, could attend a conference like that, maybe he already talked about something when it comes to Brad. Who knows? We'll wait and see. But again, this is kind of like an Easter egg right here. That's the way you take a look at it because the image was so small. That's the thing. It was like very discreetly put. But besides that point, though, the Stellar logo is the one that kind of interests me as well because we all know that the Stellar blockchain is, of course, known for its amazing speed. It's kind of already had an established nature. We already know that. And XLM market cap, it's pretty massive, right? So I do like what I'm seeing here. I mean, what could it mean as of right now? We'll wait and see. So again, shout out to Christian Perez. Thank you for showing me that because I just thought this was pretty cool as well because again, Zebec is already kind of like in that space anyways of global trade and finance alongside Ripple, alongside Stellar. So if they're putting something like, again, the XRP logo, the Stellar logo in their Super App roadmap, what could that mean? Only time will tell, but it's only speculation for me at this point. But I do find this to be pretty cool and pretty interesting because if they could do actually something alongside Stellar or Ripple in terms of like a partnership, that I think would really, just elevate Zebec to a whole different level fundamentally and in terms of the perceived sort of, I guess, fundamentals. Because as of right now, what's considered number three within the space of global trade and finance within this space? It's XDC, right? And that's been that way for a very long time. So when it comes to Ripple and Stellar, we know Ripple's number one, Stellar's number two. But XDC for so long has been the arguable number three. But if let's say Zebec could really have, like I'm talking about a real, actual partnership that actually matters and adds value like that in terms of something that is actually having substance alongside Ripple or maybe Stellar, that right there I think could really just elevate it maybe to a XDC level. I mean, we'll wait and see, but why not, right? If it could actually do something like that, I think it would graduate it beyond being a competitor when it comes to Onyx. It probably will still kind of be indirectly, but you get what I mean, right? As of right now, Onyx and Zebec is kind of in that same stratosphere, but if Zebec could really do something significant with Ripple or Stellar, I think it would really put it alongside more in the stratosphere of XDC. But this is all, again, just speculation at this point. We'll wait and see. So when people like to tell me, oh, wow, this is so bad, take a look at ZBCN, it's around 50 times lower than 10 cents. Well, okay, yeah, I get that point, but, if they could do actually something with Ripple or Stellar, could you imagine what that could do maybe for Zebec later on? It may not showcase it in the very near future, maybe, right? If the sentiment doesn't change, it's probably not going to do much. But what happens if the sentiment were to change? What happens if there's a hypothetical altcoin season and people take a look at Zebec and maybe they do see, hypothetically, if Zebec has even already done something with Ripple or Stellar, in which case, again, we'll have to wait and see. But what happens if they have done that and let's say there is a hypothetical altcoin season? that type of stuff could matter. But this is all purely hypothetical at this point. We'll still have to wait what happens moving forward. But at least Zebec has already achieved ISO 20022 compliance. And also on top of that, it's already launched a super app. But now it needs to kind of showcase something, maybe, if let's say it could, alongside Ripple or Stellar, that could really, I think, be the missing ingredient to hypothetically elevate it and kind of make it more prepared for a moment in time in which the sentiment were to maybe enter again, because that, I think, could really prepare it even further than before. But this is all, again, just the only time will tell type of scenario, and I haven't heard anything about Zebec having some sort of amazing partnership along those lines. But again, we'll wait and see. So when it comes to Zebec, sure, it's not the most important project of all time, some people like to argue, but it is within a pretty important niche, right, of global trade and finance, and there's not even that many competitors to begin with. So if I take a look at how the main players are Ripple, Stellar, XDC, and then after that there's like Zebec, Onyx, XPR, Swiftcoin, that's like not that many, that's the thing. Zebec's like one out of the 7 that are pretty popular when it comes to this space. But Zebec hasn't even ever become mainstream yet. So I think that, if anything, kind of showcases the stage that we're in as of right now. Like, this is not a point where the global trade and finance space has become so oversaturated with so many projects. It doesn't feel like that to me in terms of the famous ones, right? Other market sectors out there, it feels that way. But I just don't feel like that here. So I like the timing when it comes to Zebec in terms of their existing at a time when there really isn't that much competitors to begin with. And, again, even having Simon, the CEO, supposedly being a keynote speaker at the alleged largest XRP conference in the world from April 30th to May 1st in Las Vegas, even that in and of itself is already a very amazing accomplishment, because I think that's actually a good timing right there, in a sense where it was good that they launched the super app when they did, which was very recent. So then coming into that conference, they can maybe have more things to talk about, right? As opposed to if they didn't launch it, what happens? There's less things to talk about. So maybe these type of things could impress, Brad Garlinghouse, right? Not to mention, we take a look at the CPO of Solana is going to be a keynote speaker in that event or that conference or whatever. The thing is this, though. Solana is just kind of the cherry on top here, because we already know that Solana Ventures is a backer when it comes to Zebec. But if they could have like an actual fantastic partnership with Ripple or Stellar, again, that's the very big cherry on top, but that's the only time will tell type of scenario, even if they could hypothetically do something like that. However, if we take a look at ZBCN at the hypothetical idea of 10 cents, the market cap at that point would be around 9.8 billion. Again, we're around 50 times lower than that, but that's a market cap that's around 8 times lower than Dogecoin's market cap at one point back in 2021. Is that so ridiculous? Doesn't seem that way hypothetically to me, but we'll wait and see. I'm still dollar cost averaging once a month, and I hope you all have a very nice day. It's Willie the Captain, and I'll see y'all on the next video. I'm out. Peace. Bye.